Spiritual Teaching 191. Love each other. 1. The bread and wine on my table contains the seed of eternal life. Come eat and drink from my table. Do not cry any more from hunger and thirst. I no longer want to hear you weeping. Instead, I want to see peace and joy in my children. I am a loving father and teacher, and even when I judge you, there is love in my justice. 2. The essence of my spirit is love, as is your beginning and end. Come, my disciples, and gather around the divine master as you did during the second era when I was among you as a man. Allow your spirit to remember the gentle voice of Jesus, the divine master. Remember the time when your spirit followed me to the valleys, to the banks of the rivers, to the desert, and to the mountains to listen to my words. 3. Your spirit was transported to the heavenly kingdom on hearing the word of Jesus, who used the forms and creatures of the earth in order to create his parables and to give to man an idea of the celestial kingdom. There were those who believed and those who doubted, but all hearts were filled with peace and the sick were healed. I want you to feel that you are with me in the solitude of a valley. For a few moments, forget the physical surroundings and symbols inside this house of prayer, so that your spirit may elevate itself to me without obstacles. 4. Disciples. If I have called you the people of God, the people whom I love and have chosen, do not think that I love any less the other people of the earth. When all the people of the earth learn to acknowledge me, I will form one spiritual family, loving everyone equally. 5. Do not assume that any nation or race is spiritually inferior, nor assume that you are the only ones who have been privileged. Truly I tell you that I have given you revelations and divine prophecies since the first era, but not because you are the most loved on earth. You received them because you were the firstborn, in a spiritual sense, among humanity. Rather than becoming vain, you need to become aware of your responsibility. 6. Study the history of Israel, and you will know that in past times Israel did not share with other nations the heritage and grace given it by the Father. It became selfish and kept its gifts to itself. And that was contrary to that which my law and my doctrine mandated. 7. Once again, I have come to prepare your spirit during this era. I have enlightened it so that it will fulfill its destiny of taking my doctrine to humanity, and of blessing and saving its brethren. 8. Soon you will not hear my word, but do not think that I will leave you orphaned and lost on the path of evolution. My divine spirit will leave you prepared, and I will watch over you always. Like a divine shadow, I will guide your steps. Speaking through your lips, I will guide humanity, heal the sick, and with your voice resurrect the spiritually dead. And when the nation of Israel becomes united, I will establish my true sanctuary within your spirits. 9. During this third era, I find the heart of man more barren than ever before. It is like a soil of petrified rocks, covered with weeds and thorns. Weeds and trees with poisonous fruits grow everywhere. The waters have become contaminated. The springs have become dry, the fountains muddy, and the rivers have stopped flowing. Only withered flowers grow in the orchards. There are no nests or birds in the trees. Insects and plagues have devoured everything. That is what humanity presents to me during this era. But I have come to bring you the seed, water, and tools in order for you to find the hearts in need and to spiritually enlighten them. 10. Do not feel that my stay among you is too brief. Remember that I have spoken to you for a longer time during this era than I did in the second era. During the second era, 3 years were sufficient for mankind to learn of my miracles and to spread the news of Christ to other nations. In those 3 years, my disciples were converted into teachers. I taught them to love. Also, I taught them that, although man is ungrateful, he nevertheless possesses nobility. That nobility is the spark of divine love that every being possesses, for he is a child of God. 11. The doctrine of Jesus touched the heart of humanity most profoundly. I erected a temple in the heart of man where I am still dwelling. Man's life and principles have changed because of his ambition for power, wealth, human glory, and pleasure. It was necessary for Christ to return among humanity and to awaken it from its long sleep. Once again, he needed to show mankind the true path. I have spoken from 1866 to the present, although I have manifested myself through many different spokesmen. Always I have revealed the same word, the same essence, and the same revelations and prophecies through each spokesman. 12. My manifestation during this era has lasted longer than 3 years. It was necessary to manifest myself for a longer period so that I could explain my teaching in different ways, thus helping you to comprehend it. Frequently, some of my disciples have rejected me and have departed from the true path, even though they initially believed in me and loved me. Although they received manifestations and evidence of my truth, they chose not to follow the true path. Whenever man finds himself in the abyss, he will then repent and weep, asking for my help. Since I am love and have infinite patience, I help him arise from that abyss so he can return to me. I sit him at my table as the prodigal son. I make a feast to celebrate his return, and he rejoices. Everyone believes that the disciple has truly repented, except the divine master. With time, the disciple again yields to temptation. Frequently, I have seen many disciples fall, arise, and return to me. My manifestation this era has lasted until 1950 so that you can return to the true path after departing from it many times. Then you will have acquired true spiritual strength. 13. What new attractions or experiences could the world and science offer you? What unknown pleasures could the flesh give you, or what new things can you learn from vice and sin? If you yearn to experience true joy, wisdom, and inner peace, then follow my path and learn to sow my seed. You will discover more things than you could ever desire. 14. Whoever does not appreciate this work as being pure, perfect, and infinite, does so because he has not been able to clearly perceive the truth and to gaze into the sanctuary of true wisdom. Since he is still learning, he has not allowed me to show him those things that I need to reveal to him. 15. The last 3 years of my manifestation are approaching. They will be a representation of the 3 years when Jesus preached in the second era. 16. Although it is the same law as always, I will make changes to how you practice my doctrine. I have waited a long time for you to make those changes, but you have failed to do it. I have announced that I will depart in 1950, no longer manifesting myself through human spokesmen. Also, I have informed you that the communication from spirit to spirit will begin after my departure. However, what will happen to those who do not prepare themselves? They will continue to call upon my divine ray, but I will no longer manifest myself through spokesmen. However, some will pretend that I still manifest myself through them. They will be supported by others who, claiming to have spiritual vision, will testify that I am still present. Still others will enter into ecstasy, proclaiming that it is the spiritual world who is speaking. These individuals will ridicule those who have respected my will of no longer manifesting myself through spokesmen after 1950. Thus, there will be great confusion. 17. What would happen if those confused individuals were to arise as foreigners and messengers throughout the nations? You would only find a field sowed with confusion and deception. There is still time to meditate and to prepare yourself, for your brethren will arrive to question you. They will not be satisfied with just analyzing my word, because they will discover that it is truly pure. Instead, they will examine the fruit produced by my word, and thus will carefully study the lives of those who have witnessed my manifestation. Your brethren will examine your life, your deeds, and your practices. in order to confirm my teachings and manifestation. If a person could be saved through knowing only my word, then humanity could have been saved since the time of Moses, when I first revealed my law. However, Christ had to come to earth as a teacher for mankind. Today, I have come again, but in spirit, to make you aware that one can only be saved and be close to God by practicing deeds of love, charity, and humility. Remember my apostles from the past. They not only offered testimony with their words, but also with their deeds, blood, and lives. 18. Today, I want you to practice true charity with your brethren. Thus, mankind will observe my new disciples and will intuitively know that this work is not just a result of a human fantasy or of a disturbed mind. They will know that it is a continuation of the path outlined by God since the beginning of time. It fulfills the announcements and prophecies made by Jesus. Christ is the one who manifested himself spiritually in this area and is the same Christ who lived among humanity in the second era. 19. While the world prepares itself to drink from the better chalice that war offers, I offer you my teachings to share with others. If the light that vibrates within the human mind helps humanity perform great deeds, then what can be said of my divine light of wisdom, which can change man's way of life to prepare him for the spiritual life? 20. The divine light and wisdom that descends from my spirit to your spirit, according to your evolution, produces an inner enlightenment that eliminates all darkness. Analyze yourself, and you will realize that before studying my teachings, you were uncertain about many things. You could not imagine that many mysteries would be explained. 21. Today, I am separating all confusion from the human mind. I am preparing man so that he will not doubt the truth that he carries within. 22. You cannot have true faith if you experience doubt and are weak. Faith is believing without doubting. It allows you to put an idea into practice without fear of failure. The one who has faith is able to perceive things spiritually and will be able to perceive the truth and the final outcome. 23. Allow faith to develop within you, for not everyone possesses it. Once you start to develop faith, it will struggle against temptation. In order to reject and triumph over evil, strive to discover the weapons of love found in the essence of my word. The one who is unsure of my presence and my manifestation judges what he perceives and hears without truly being able to elevate his spirit toward the Lord. He still needs adornments and symbols to satisfy his material senses, believing that he achieves inspiration and spiritual elevation in that manner. 24. I come to teach you that your spirit no longer needs the sound of musical hymns to become inspired and elevated. In the second era, my disciples could elevate themselves in prayer and feel my spiritual peace, even though they had no more than the blue sky over their heads. They could elevate themselves because they were able to hear the voice of the Divine Master within their hearts. 25. It has pleased me to manifest myself through human spokesmen during this era. I utilize the mind of man and his own language to enlighten humanity of my doctrine of love because it was the best method. 26. Through this doctrine you will attain spiritual elevation for everything of alls. Be aware that everything originated through the righteous power of God. Develop your virtues within your own surroundings. My enlightenment will be your foundation for constructing the world of tomorrow. 27. You have visible evidence of your spiritual evolution. Today, you do not think the same as you did yesterday. You are different from your parents, and your children will be different from you. You cannot avoid it, because you are guided by a superior force. Truly I tell you that evil will not prevail. Virtue will triumph, because the one who practices charity cannot be selfish. The one who feels love cannot hate. And where there is light, there can be no darkness. 28. I want you to follow my path with true conviction so that tomorrow you will teach your children to follow this same path. Always offer sincere advice to others, and my word will touch those who need it at the appropriate time. 29. There are those who fight against themselves due to their own corruption. They need my enlightenment to recognize their errors and to learn to love their fellow human beings. 30. I am walking ahead of you, my people, removing all obstacles from your path so that you may continue your journey. 31. Come to my banquet, my beloved people, where for a few moments you may enjoy the presence of the Lord. 32. Come and fill your heart with my peace. I possess the peace which you greatly lack on earth. 33. Although only a few have listened to my teachings, it is sufficient because tomorrow they will offer testimony to their brethren. I know that if I were to summon everyone, the majority would not listen because they are too occupied with their daily tasks. They would deny me and prevent men of goodwill from listening to me. 34. In these humble places where I manifest myself, I am allowing the seed of my doctrine to germinate. I have united those with simple hearts into groups. After they are free from their everyday responsibilities, I speak to them of love, of the eternal, of the Spirit, and of true human and spiritual values. I have made them perceive life through their conscience and not through their physical senses. 35. I refer to these individuals as my disciples. Since they were poor and not acknowledged by their brethren, they experienced great satisfaction when I summoned them. They resurrected to a new life and rejoiced at my teaching. Since the Lord has given them his revelations and has shown them the path of love, they strongly believe that they can help their brethren. 36. Some will reject and ridicule them because they call themselves disciples of Jesus. But truly I tell you that in spite of that rejection and ridicule, they will continue being my disciples. 37. Man believes that the heavens are so distant that it is very difficult for me to manifest myself among those who you feel are insignificant. This occurs because man has only a vague idea of heaven. He ignores that heaven is a state of perfection for the spirit, a state of purity and of enlightenment that all spirits have to reach. It is not a specific place in the universe. 38. The spirit, as it elevates itself, will be able to dwell in more elevated mansions. Thus, when it achieves perfection, it will dominate the infinite and be everywhere. It will be truly enlightened and in harmony with the Father and all beings. That will be its heaven and its glory. What more could the Spirit desire other than eternal peace, wisdom, and the joy of loving and of being loved? 39. It has been close to 2,000 years since I dwelt among mankind. Today, humanity perceives my deeds and my words of the past as imagined and supernatural. Man needs to know that earth and men were the same as they are today. He is mistaken to believe that only those of the past were worthy of the grace of my presence. For I have always dwelt in the heart of man. I also have always manifested myself before him, as I did in the second era, and as I do today in spirit. 40. It is necessary for man to know me so that he can know the truth. Whoever knows the truth will no longer be able to depart from the path of my law, for he will listen to the voice of his conscience. 41. The one who ignores the truth is like a blind individual who cannot find the true path, or like a deaf individual who is unwilling to listen to the voice of his conscience, a voice that originates from God. That is why I have come once again to earth. I come to reveal the truth, which was hidden from man. I offer him wisdom and new enlightenment to help his spirit arise from its sad and miserable condition. 42. I will awaken in man the divine desire to elevate himself toward the path of righteousness. I will reveal to him the existence of the true heaven and the new promised land. I will prove to him that I am not distant. For if I were, man would not exist. 43. Disciples. Remember these words in your heart, so that when you meditate and reflect on my divine law, you will experience great joy. 44. Be aware that I am a fountain of love. Come to me, and I will quench your need for love and charity. Behold how the light of my spirit illuminates all human beings. Arise to live a useful and productive life. Although in the past you were not capable of even guiding yourself, today you can guide multitudes. 45. Many were walking toward the abyss, but when they heard my voice, they chose to return and to continue striving toward the true path. I say to you now that you are my disciples, that I have created a nation with this multitude. I will receive you only when you are in harmony and are fulfilling the will of God. 46. Among this multitude there are those who still do not fully understand my doctrine and misinterpret it. That is why there are disagreements and a lack of harmony among this multitude. I say to you that there is still time to study my teachings in order to correct those faults, thus removing all evil from your hearts. Those who first receive this task have the greatest responsibility, because they have listened to me the longest. I say to those who were the first to witness my manifestation, fill your hearts with charity and perceive those who have come after you as your younger brethren. Let your life, deeds, and words serve as an example to others of the perfection, greatness, and virtue of my work. 47. Those who are guiding these multitudes need to carefully study my teachings and mandates. They need to be alert and to pray for the multitudes, so that the people will listen to them, follow them, and perceive them as prophets. 48. You shiver every time that you hear the Father speaking in a tone of justice. But, once again you are betrayed by your weaknesses and succumb to the ordeals, which only serve to strengthen your spirit. 49. When will all those who belong to this multitude, and who are now scattered in different nations, unite with you? This multitude is experiencing hardships in its journey, but others await it so they can unite in pursuit of the promised land. They do not need to unite physically, because the true path is in the heart, and the promised land is spiritual peace. 50. Each member of this multitude, no matter where he is, will be inspired by the Father and will receive thoughts of comfort from his brethren. My new people of Israel will arise in different places throughout the world and will teach this doctrine of spirituality with true purity. 51. My people, how can you believe that you are distant from one another because you have gathered in different houses of prayer to witness my manifestation? Only ignorance will prevent you from discovering the spiritual bond that unites all of God's children. 52. Allow your spiritual gifts to manifest themselves, enabling you to guide yourself through your intuition and revelation. Thus, you will no longer stain nor disrespect the spiritual gifts that I have given you. 53. In this era, I have given your spirit a new opportunity to elevate itself toward the Father. 54. The Messiah, who in the past came to earth and outlined a path of salvation for mankind with his word and deeds, has now come in spirit and is making his voice of justice heard through the conscience. 55. I have called many to witness this manifestation and to listen to my word, but not all have come. 56. These multitudes who follow me are those who felt a spiritual desire to be with me and to enjoy the shade of the divine tree. They heard the voice of the Lord and yearned to become sowers like him. They will be given seeds to sow along their path. They are slowly becoming disciples and are aware that in the future they will leave the warmth of their homes to take my seed to all those who are hungry or thirsty for love, truth, and justice. 57. I have given you an abundance of teachings. Therefore you should not become intimidated in the presence of scholars. Truly I say that many scholars have become confused with their own knowledge. 58. The mission of this multitude is to teach their brethren through their deeds, words, and prayer. This multitude will journey to distant lands, knowing that the beloved mother will always be with them to offer her protection. 59. Many times you will speak to others about Mary and about her great love for mankind. You will notice that some will react with indifference. At times you will be rejected for talking about her and for having faith in her. But do not be afraid. Remember that when Jesus was dying on the cross, a woman in great pain was agonizing at the foot of the cross. That woman was Mary, the Divine Mother, who at that moment was feeling all the suffering of the world. Did the crowd at Calvary control itself in the presence of that woman? No, my people, it did not. But with the passage of time, Mary was acknowledged as the mother of the Savior and as the spiritual mother of humanity. Humanity constructed an altar in its heart to honor Mary, the mother of Jesus. 60. Humanity comes to listen to my teachings, similar to how one obtains water from a fountain to water his fields. Everyone has a portion, a family, or a multitude that he must spiritually nourish. He knows that only I can give him water that is pure to make his fields blossom and produce fruit. 61. The heart of the Divine Master is touched as it welcomes those messengers who come from distant lands representing different people. I will send my message of peace and my teaching of wisdom back to those people through their messengers. 62. You do the right thing in seeking me amidst those who have listened to my teachings the longest, for they have learned many things. However, do not forget that it is not necessary to travel long distances to find me. The only distance one needs to travel to feel my presence is the one that exists between his materialism and his spiritual gifts. 63. Return in peace to your home, your community, or amidst your congregation. But before you do, fill yourself with dedication, justice, and enthusiasm so that you will guide the multitudes through the righteous path, allowing no one to dishonor this doctrine with his impure deeds. You will carry healing balsam in your heart to dry the tears of those who ask for your charity. Allow your deeds to reflect what my doctrine truly is, a true fountain of love, forgiveness, and salvation. 64. Meditate on your past. Analyze your present, and you will truly be convinced that you have been sent to earth to fulfill this mission. It will not be the words of men that will convince you of this truth, but rather the proof that I will present along your journey. Have true faith in these teachings. Dedicate yourself truly to fulfilling your mission in a loving manner. 65. Some say, Lord, this work is so perfect. However, the Divine Master informs you not to allow it to become meaningless and a routine. In the future, you will attain a much higher state of spiritual elevation, which now you are unable to comprehend. You will progress spiritually, step by step, without ever perceiving an end to my infinite wisdom and knowledge. 66. Do not become stagnant nor attempt to progress too quickly. Take small but firm steps, and strengthen each step through study and meditation. My peace be with you.